Fox 10 Phoenix starts now.
Developing at this hour, a police officer is in the hospital and a suspect is dead.
Yeah, this all happened after an officer-involved shooting in Maricopa. Dominique Newland is live with the very latest details on all of this. Good morning, Dominique.
Good morning. We have an update. The officer is said to be in stable condition, but what led up to the shooting, those details still not clear this morning, but we were able to get video when that shooting took place. Take a listen. So what you can hear is the sound of gunshots, and that was captured from a Google Nest video in Maricopa. The shooting happened just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon at a Circle K gas station on John Way Parkway near Bolin Road. The Pinal County Sheriff's Office says that one officer was shot and a 35 to 45-year-old man described as the sole suspect in the incident was killed. The suspect is said to have recently been released from the Department of Correction and has a violent criminal history. The nearby Sun Life Health Center was also put on temporary lockdown after the shooting, and we spoke with a worker from the facility.
Told patients to stay in, and so we kind of held everybody until we kind of knew what was going on, and a lot of craziness, right? Not in Maricopa, huh? For sure. So yeah, they get some action over here apparently, but not the kind of action you want, right?
So the Pinal County Sheriff's Office says all officers involved in the shooting have been placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure for an officer-involved shooting. And right now, the Pinal Regional Special Investigations Unit, they are taking over the investigation into the shooting. So be sure to stick with Fox 10. We'll have the latest developments. We'll be keeping an eye on this case as more details come to light. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Dominique reporting live for us this morning. Thank you. We also have a Fox 10 follow-up for you as we learn tragic new details about that motorcycle crash that we first told you about yesterday morning right here on AZAM.
Glendale police confirming one of their officers was killed in that crash. It was right around this time yesterday morning on the Loop 303 near Happy Valley Road in Peoria in the West Valley. The off-duty Glendale officer was riding a motorcycle when the deadly crash happened there in the median of the freeway. No other vehicles were involved. Glendale police have shared with us the officer's family is now asking for privacy and that the officer's name not be released.
And another bad crash involving a motorcycle closing down a portion of the Loop 202 through the overnight hours. It happened in the eastbound lanes near Mesa Drive. DPS says people were hurt, but it's still not clear how bad their injuries are. No word yet on what may have led up to that collision. The road has since reopened.
A former Marana police dispatcher behind bars accused of having child porn. 31-year-old Dalton Wanya Jones booked on 5 counts of exploitation of a minor. He was arrested February 20th. The Pima County Sheriff's Office says that they found several storage devices with images on it. He was officially fired this week. He's being held on a $75,000 bond.
We are learning more information about a man's death while skydiving in Eloy last weekend. This is video that you're seeing as file video. This is not from the incident. Skydive Arizona tells us the 47-year-old man was an experienced skydiver with more than 25,000 jumps under his belt. Witnesses say he did deploy his parachute safely. However, Skydive Arizona says he did not have enough time to make what they're calling a quote-unquote advanced landing maneuver and sustained fatal injuries when landing. 3 skydivers have died in Eloy in recent weeks.
We have some new video to share with you this morning showing a Waymo quickly pivoting to avoid a crash in Phoenix. Here it is right here. This is dash cam footage that Waymo has now shared with us. So there was a truck you just saw moments ago. Here it is again, appearing to swerve into the wrong lane near 52nd Street and Oak. This is in East Phoenix, right on the border there, Phoenix and Tempe. And then you see the Waymo, kind of the self-driving vehicle, swerve off the road to avoid the crash, and then used a turn signal and then got back into its lane, which you often wonder, you know, is it, you know, ready to avoid this type of crash? And apparently in this situation, it was, yeah.
Well, a fire investigation is underway in West Phoenix this morning. Crews battled an apartment fire last night right around 8 p.m. It broke out near 43rd Avenue in Osborne. It started on the first floor of the complex, and crews stopped the flames from spreading to the upper levels. Everyone got out safely, the good news there, and no one was hurt. But 3 people were forced out of their homes. They are getting help with a temporary place to live. Maricopa County Board has unanimously approved funding for 2 independent election reviews.
Supervisors say Maricopa County administers free and fair elections, and they hope these reviews will give voters more confidence in the system. The board budgeted $400,000 for a comprehensive review of the election department processes during the 2024 election. $80,000 will be used for the review of election technology. The Internal Audit Department will select a contractor to conduct the audits.
The city of Mesa will spend about $16 million for upgrades for the Chicago Cubs spring training facility. The project will add a women's locker room for employees, a performance hitting facility, and a pitching lab for players. Sloan Park is owned by the city of Mesa and leased by the Cubs. Some of the funding comes from the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority. The rest is from Mesa's general funds. Some action happening off the diamond today. The Extra Innings Festival kicks off today at the Tempe Beach Park. This is going to be a lot of fun, and the weather is looking fantastic for it. The 2-day celebration of baseball and music will feature the Lumineers and Casey Musgraves. Those are the 2 big headliners. Other acts include Kings of Leon, Megan Maroney, and OAR.
Those are big names.
They are some big names.
Yeah, lots of folks in the valley for that one.
Well, turning now to some other big stories developing across the country and the world. We have new details emerging about the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife.
Yeah.
The story is getting kind of bizarre, isn't it?
It really is. We're finally getting some additional details. The bodies were discovered by workers at their home in New Mexico, and that worker called 911. Police say Hackman, his wife, in a bathroom, and she was lying there next to a space heater, close to an open prescription bottle with pills scattered on a countertop near her. Well, one of the couple's dogs was also dead in that same bathroom, but 2 of the other dogs were found alive. We believe in some of the reports that dog that was found dead was in a kennel. The other 2 dogs were running free. There were no obvious wounds on the bodies, but the sheriff's department search warrant obtained by Fox says the door to the home was unlocked and open, and that's what some of the early details were coming through there to the authorities. That's what they said. There was no sign of carbon monoxide or gas poisoning. They've reached out to the gas company to look into it. Hackman's family issued a statement saying the 2-time Oscar-winning actor was loved and admired by millions around the world. Quote, they say, to us, though, he was always just dad and grandpa. So we'll have much more details as we receive more here today. We're going to take you overseas. Developing in Rome, concerns about Pope Francis and his ability to lead the Catholic Church as he now recovers from pneumonia.
Yeah, the Pope's health continues to improve slightly, but many are starting to wonder if the 88-year-old pontiff might resign. The Vatican says Francis continues sleeping well through the nights as his battle against double pneumonia presses on, but new medical tests show his kidney issues have subsided. The Holy Father is able to pray in his private chapel at Rome's Gemelli Hospital, but doctors say he still needs more days of, quote, clinical stability before their prognosis can be upgraded. As for retirement talk, some experts believe he will only make that decision if his condition keeps him from fulfilling his papal duties.
We have been following the latest on this investigation coming out of Scottsdale. We do have an update this morning on a deadly plane crash from earlier this month.
Yeah, the National Transportation Safety Board has released new details on its investigation, including some pictures and diagrams to show us exactly what happened. So take a look at some of these NTSB renderings. It shows how the plane veered off of the runway during landing, crashing into a parked plane. The diagram shows the plane touched down going about 140 miles per hour and then traveled about 2,700 feet before hitting a parked jet going about 50 miles an hour. That's when that pilot was killed and injured several others.
So this report found that the plane owned by Motley Crue frontman Vince Neil had a broken landing gear. Pictures show the left wheel did not go down properly before landing. The flight crew did not make any radio calls indicating they knew the landing gear may not have been working properly. But there are indicator lights showing the pilot if the gears are in fact locked down.
The report also tells us that the plane had a landing mishap in June of last year. It was a hard landing that caused the jet to bounce several times, blowing both tires out on the left landing gear. A mechanic removed the landing gears and inspected them, according to the NTSB. The mechanic told investigators that he followed the maintenance manual for all the work that was performed. 7:31, and your Money Watch, your electric bill is going to go up if you are an SRP customer.
Yeah, they had a big meeting, and they've say that they've listened to a lot of your comments coming in. The company's board approving a plan to raise monthly rates for the first time in about 5 years. The average customer expected to see an increase of about $5.61. That's an average, so maybe a little less for some, a little more for others. But that will vary depending on plan and usage. SRP says the increase is needed to improve power grids and that customers will have more ways to save on your bill, including super off-peak hours. That's if you want to wake up, maybe it's at 1 a.m. to do laundry.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to save money, I'm there.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Set that alarm.
Customers during public comment, though, were not happy, as you can imagine.
I'm not talking about financial number tiers. I'm talking about the tiers that we see when more chunks out of a fixed income is taken out by so much and so many of our peers.
And then there is a small increase in the rates overall, about 2.4% on an average basis, which is basically to provide necessary revenues to continue to upgrade and maintain the electric grid.
The price increases will not go into effect until November. A Valley family can breathe a sigh of relief here this morning knowing their children will be safe from drowning.
Yeah, they received a free pool fence through Child Crisis Arizona. It's part of the nonprofit's third annual pool safety program to prevent kids from drowning. The Gunnison family, who moved to the Valley in 2020, had a home with a dive pool, and with twins on the way, they were unable to afford a pool fence or swim lessons for their kids. But then tragedy struck the family in 2023 when a close family friend accidentally drowned in a pool.
Peace of mind. Peace of mind it's priceless. It is truly priceless. I can open my back door and I can let my kids play.
For more information on how to apply for a free pool fence, you can visit our website, fox10phoenix.com. If you're heading the road this weekend, it's still going to cost quite a bit to fill your tank. The latest numbers from AAA Arizona showing the state average for gas is sitting at $3.39 a gallon. Just last month, it was close to $3.15, still higher than the current national average of $3.11 a gallon. But it's still more expensive in Phoenix, with the average there $3.60, a big jump from $3.18, which was just a month ago.